The One Planet Fellowship, of course, was very competitive because, the whole of Africa selecting only about 40 candidates. So I knew from the beginning that I had to put in a lot of work. And the motivation for me was when I read what is involved in the fellowship, and I really thought that this is a very good program for young scientists to undergo through. A kind of training, the mentorship process. And also at the end of the day, I'll have to be mentoring younger scientists as well. The fellowship is really focusing on something close to my heart, how we can help smallholder farmers in Africa adapt to climate change. As a scientist, what role can I play to help farmers increase productivity in this changing climate? I've learned, for example, things of bringing out, the different gender dimensions, how do different gender groups, are not only affected, for example. So what can we learn from the way the different groups are adapting? And then using that information now to develop research that is able to deal with some of those things. For example, assessing the vulnerability assessment. You go to the farmers, how do you speak with them? But also, how do you translate your scientific knowledge to translate it to the farmers in a language that they're able to understand and have that conversation? It's not just about the science. First of all, you have to understand yourself. What are your strengths and what are some of your weaknesses? For example, what kind of person are you? We have so many challenges in Africa, especially when we talk about food security and climate change. So, what role can you play? So we have shorter rainfall periods now. So that has a direct impact on the farmers, who depend on the rainfall to grow our food. How can farmers still be able to produce enough food, manage their soil sustainably? Because agriculture is also not only affected by the climate change, but it also has an impact on the climate change. So when you talk about soils, for example, soils are important when it comes to mitigation and also adaptation. So mitigation, for example, can we deal with issues of storing carbon? So soil is a central part when you talk about carbon sequestration, for example. The major issues that we are facing, food security, poverty, climate change. I have a mentor, and I think it's important to have a mentor because essentially the mentor has has a lot of experience, and so you can ride on some of that vast experiences. It's been a very exciting process in terms of him sharing some of that knowledge, but also it has helped me to be able to remain focused. Yes, because when we meet, we set goals together. I'm able to track my progress, but he's also able to help me, for example, introduce me, for example, to other networks that he has. What we're doing with the farmers is that we train them in terms of some of the best management practices. How do you manage the soils to ensure that you're able to retain the soil moisture, you're able to increase the soil fertility, but also, just other basic important things like planting early. We talk to the farmers, they give us what are the challenges that they're facing, how are they adapting, so what are some of the solutions that they have. So through that, we are also learning from the farmers, some of the indigenous knowledge that they have. This past season, we've been able to work with the farmers to ensure that they also grow sunflower, because sunflower is not only a drought-tolerant crop, but it is also a cash crop. Farmers are able to sell that and earn extra income when you look at resilience of the farmers to climate change. So if you have a bit more income, then you are much able to even buy inputs for the next farming season through a small company that I co-founded with a partner. We are working with the same farmers, where we have an understanding. We do the trainings at the beginning of the season, help them get inputs, which sometimes they're not able to acquire, but we help them get the inputs. And then we visit them during the growing season, ensure that the management is spot on. And then at the end of the harvest, we go and ensure that we provide ready market for the farmers. And that has been, I think, very encouraging to the farmers, and we've had a very good response. So I think that is a very good way to ensure that, it's not only the aspect of climate change, but also access to markets so that farmers have the incomes that they need to be able to feed their families.